So many times people who have a job have the illusion of security because they could be 24 hours away from unemployment, but they don't know where they're at until the axe falls. Whereas for a business owner, moment by moment, we know. You are going to spend a lot of time having people not understand what you're about, but you need to keep your focus, keep your vision, focus in on why am I doing what I'm doing? Because if it's only about making money, as soon as you're not making money for that month, you're going to give up. Whereas if you have a bigger vision, you have a real commitment to accomplishing something, then you'll have that reserve where you can hang in there through the thick and thin to realize what your potential is.
Hello, hello, and hello. Welcome to the Profit Advisor podcast, where we separate coaching conversations from real business and advisory outcomes. My name is Malcolm Reid. I am the CEO of Pro Global Business Advisors and the mastermind and creator behind the Profit Advisor platform. Now, each episode is a real operational breakdown. We talk about what broke, what changed, and then the systems that made results predictable. So if you want growth that survives without you, then you're in the right place. And this series, it brings together business leaders and innovators to explore insights, challenges, and strategies that actually shape their work so that you can walk away with tactics that you can apply into your business and actually see some immediate results. So if you're ready to have a meaningful conversation that goes beyond the surface, you are in the right place. And so with that in mind, I want to welcome today's conversation. And today I'm joined by Brent Hultman, and he is the CEO of Kairos Profit Coach. And his work is making a massive impact in the coaching, consulting, and advisory space. Now, Brent, first of all, thank you so much for being here. And where you actually are showing up from, Brent? Where are you located?
I'm actually just north of Denver out in Colorado.
Oh, I love it in Colorado, my friend. I like it I like Denver and Colorado Springs, but I also like it in Breck.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway,
Telluride and Steamboat are cool too.
Well, yeah, I've heard about that. Never been though. So maybe I need to come out there and spend some time with you, and maybe you can show me around. What do you think?
Go.
All right, Brent, let's just dive right in. So to start us off, why don't you tell the audience, what do you do and who do you do it for?
Love that. A couple of things. One is I actually work using proven strategies and systems. Business owners hire me to help them double and triple their revenue with strategies that are proven, stood the test of time, that get results. And my whole business is about get results. And so helping small business owners, also helping other business advisors utilize these same strategies for them to get results for other small businesses. Because obviously, if we're helping businesses and helping businesses that are coaching to help more businesses, that just multiplies the impact and the benefits of the small business community as a whole.
Absolutely, it does. That sounds fantastic. And just in full transparency, Brent is actually part of our advisor community. And so we're not going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about really just how his experiences up and down have can help shape you and determine how you may be able to lean on some of those things for your own personal growth. And with that in mind, Brent, what were some of your personal experiences that help you shape the way that you lead today?
Yeah, actually, I love that question because one of the real pivotal points for me was COVID, because the first book I wrote is all about leadership and team building and how to build an effective high-performance team. And that focus served me well up till COVID. Well, during the lockdown, people weren't investing in teams or in leadership. So I had the good fortune of connecting with the system with Pro Global, and that allowed me to make a pivot to increasing revenue, that front of mind issue that all small business owners have. And of course, the beauty of that is that gives me the opportunity, once I've started helping them grow their business, to help them understand as well that really dialing into being an effective leader and building a strong team is really one more level up to really accomplish what their goals and dreams are.
So So thank you for that. And, in your view, though, obviously growing a business just like life, it's not this straight trajectory, right? There's
Absolutely.
many challenges along the way. What were some, give us like the top 2 to 3 challenges or hurdles that you had to overcome in order for you to show up to support others and also generate a successful business for yourself?
Yeah, and appreciate that clarifying question because really it kind of comes down to, and I don't think I'm unusual in this, where there's things that work. They don't work every day, and we do have the ups and the downs. But I'm tempted to be distracted by shiny objects, where I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, I know what works, but maybe that'll work better. So I give up the things that are effective. And then I go chase something else, and I'm really wasting time and energy, and I'm diverting resources, time resources, money even, to things that really aren't going to get me where I want to go because I'm off track. I always
Right.
think of Yogi Berra's quote of, "It worked so well, we quit doing it." I'm guilty of that.
Wow. And then I don't think that first of all, we appreciate that level of transparency. A lot of times, you may talk to someone that's successful and they shy away from talking about what most people want to hear about. They want to hear about the struggles, because, when a person's looking at someone that's, is successful, they may think that you're an overnight success. They don't necessarily see that there's some really tough times that you must go through personally. And so if you were to think about a personal hurdle that maybe you went through that could have stopped you in your tracks, and yet you found some way to overcome that, what would something like that be that you
Yeah.
could share?
And what comes right to mind is years ago when I found myself divorced and the career that I was in didn't work for me in the connection to being a full-time dad and primary caregiver for my boys. And I owned my own business, but it was a consulting business where I had to be on the road a lot. And I always joked that I was more valuable the farther I had to fly from home. And
Wow.
so moving from that to, okay, now what? I've often said to other entrepreneurs who are kind of embarrassed because they're not flourishing in the moment, I'll say, no, you know what? Been there, done that, couldn't afford the t-shirt, because we all go through those cycles. But that's a great example where it's like, all right, how do I pivot to something that lets me stay home and raise my kids? Because my youngest was only 1 year old.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, and when you have a young one like that, they need lots of time and attention,
Absolutely.
and a lot of times, as you know, when you're growing a business, your family, your friends, a lot of people think you're crazy. They can't see what you see. They can't see your vision. They don't understand why we would suffer through these up and down feast and
Mhm.
famine cycles. So for those listeners who are in that situation right now, right? They're smart, they're brilliant, they have skills, yet they're struggling. And it could be someone at home, it could be, others just don't understand them. How can you speak to that?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind is so many times people who have a job have the illusion of security because they could be 24 hours away from unemployment, but they don't know where they're at until the axe falls. Whereas for a business owner, moment by moment, we know. And of course, the people around us don't appreciate that perspective. So really keying into understanding that you are going to spend a lot of time having people not understand what you're about, but you need to keep your focus, keep your vision, focus in on why am I doing what I'm doing? Because if it's only about making money, as soon as you're not making money for that month, you're going to give up. Whereas if you
Mm.
have a bigger vision, you have a real commitment to accomplishing something, then you'll have that reserve where you can hang in there through the thick and thin to realize what your potential is.
So I want to highlight something that Brent said because it could have been lost in all of this good information and knowledge he's given us. He said it has to be a purpose other than money. And I can remember one of my mentors years ago said that if your why, or the reason you're doing something, if your why doesn't make you cry, then it's not big enough. because when life starts lifing and things start showing up, you'll quit. And so, as you're mentioning, when there's a purpose that's much bigger than you, what I'm hearing you say is it's the result of you not focusing on money and really giving the best you can to serve and support others. It's because of that that you end up becoming appropriately compensated for the work you're doing. Yes?
Yes. Yeah, you nailed it. Years and years ago, I read Zig Ziglar's comment that you'll get everything in life that you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And I took that to heart as a young man, and that's really informed my focus as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and even when I worked as an employee for other companies. It's like, you know what? It's bigger than me. And that's so rewarding.
Now, how do you do that when you're broke, though? You know, if you're saying that if you do enough for helping somebody else, and yet for myself, I can't pay my bills, or I'm not sure where, how I'm going to make it, things keep happening. I mean, how do you balance that?
Yeah, and I appreciate the question. And of course, frankly, it's standing on your faith. But what it really pragmatically means is if you're focused on your desperation, that comes across. And you cannot get out of a desperate situation by being desperate. You have to look beyond the immediate problem to the opportunity and the potential, so that that's what people that you're trying to engage with see. Because if they see you trying to grab on and you're desperate, forget it. That's a non-starter.
Yeah, that's so valuable because, when you're in those situations, you're really thinking, what am I going to do? How am I need this sale really bad. I need this client, this patient, right? I need this desperately, and one of the things that comes to mind is if you really believe that your product or service or solution will make that person's life better off, are you going to be desperate, or are you going to be determined to make sure that they get it? Which one do you think the person?
Without a doubt, yeah. Without a doubt, it's that determination. It's the idea that if instead of business, we were talking about a cure for a disease, if I've got a cure and that person that I'm talking to doesn't know about the cure, it's criminal if I don't let them know. And if I let them know, it's going to benefit them. And ultimately, it's going to benefit me. And I'm not looking at, okay, am I going to make $1? I'm looking at what is the right thing to do in the moment for them.
If you listen, y'all, let me double down on what he just said. If you have something that is going to impact the life of someone else in a better way, in Brent's words, it's criminal for you not to make sure people have what you offer. So let's turn that desperation into determination. Be determined to make sure that they don't walk away without your solution. Because if you think about it, Brent, as you mentioned, especially if they know the solution is available, you're leaving them worse off.
Right.
Wow. Brent, what types of, I'm going to pivot for a second. Tell me, what types of relationships or partnerships or strategic alliances are you looking to build more of this year?
Yeah. Professionals, people who, first of all, they have to have the same ethic, the same core belief and approach to life, where it's not just about me. It's not just about making money. It's really an open-handed, I have things that people need. And so that looks like lawyers, CPAs, professionals that bring valuable services to people, and where they have things that together collaboratively we can provide a leveraged benefit to a small business owner, where it's all the things they don't know that they so desperately need.
Yeah, very well said. So Brent, let's do this. Let's close with a few rapid fire questions. All right.
Okay.
So just say the first thing that comes to your mind. All right.
Okay.
All right. Don't think about first thing that comes to your mind. If I said pink elephant with purple polka dots, what comes to your mind?
Disney.
Hey, what's one habit that you want to break?
Procrastination.
What about a quote that you found changed your life?
It's a song lyric. keep on the sunny side.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. What about a belief that you have that no matter what, it's unshakable?
There is a God and God loves me.
We love that, Brent. Brent, what's the best way for people to connect or collaborate with you?
Well, they can go to Kairos Profit Coach and get my calendar link there. They can download my book from there. And also LinkedIn, Brent Hultman. I'm right there. And there is a lot of resource information and access. I'm in LinkedIn every day.
So Brent is willing to give you a free copy of his book. Go to kairosprofitcoach.com. Will you spell that for us, Brent?
Yeah, it's Kairos.
Say it again.
Kairos Profit Coach.
Kairos profitcoach.com. Brent, this has been fun. We learned a lot, my friend. We really value, too, the fact that you've been so open and authentic. People need that. You know, so many people, again, they just hear about all this success, but they really need to understand what goes on behind the scenes doesn't look as good as they may think. So listen, everyone, if this episode made you rethink your operation model or just rethink anything that you're doing, or maybe reminded you of something that you can do, don't just binge on the content. Build. Take massive action now. You know, we say that all the time, and it really means if you just get 1% better every week, you can do that. That's doable. You know, it compounds over by the end of the year, and you're going to end up 67% better than you are today. So if this episode is valuable, follow the show. Actually share it with other business owners who can also benefit. And until we meet again, do one thing that makes somebody smile today, and we'll see you on the next show. Thanks so much, Brent. It's been a pleasure. Have a good one, my friend.